there's something to clarify about the name of the place. When I say Buda Castle, usually it's misleading for the people because obviously you think it's one building, right? Buda Castle means one castle building, or it means one palace building. No, not at all. Buda Castle refers to the whole place that you can see here on this map, all right? Not only one building, but the whole area. Don't worry, even the Hungarians are not aware of this, only the tour guides, because we learned it in school. So we can divide the place into three parts: the north, the center, and the south. So let me show you. This is where we are right now, where you see the red dot. And first of all, we are going to discover the north, okay? This part of the area, which is a residential place. A little bit surprising, I know, because we talk about a deeply historical place, but it was residential in the Middle Ages, and still today civil Hungarian people, they do have their private homes and flats here in the northern part. And then slowly we go down to the center here. That's the place where we are going to see the biggest attractions for today, the Matthias Church and the Fisherman's Bastion. This is one of the best places in the whole world, I know that. So here I will give you a little time to make sure you can take the best new pictures to be posted on your social media platform. So here we will have a little break, like 10 minutes break, okay? Restroom and pictures, then we meet again and we continue down to the south here. And this is the place what we call the Royal Court area. That's where I'm going to show you the former Royal Palace of Hungary, the Prime Minister's office and the President's offices. Sounds good? To settle down. 896 was the time when we arrived here in 7 ancient Hungarian tribes. By the time when we arrived, the rest of Europe, like all the other nations around, they were already Christian and civilized nations. So when we arrived here as pagans, the Pope told us, all right, Hungarians, you are very welcome to stay here, if you are willing to take up Christianity. If you are not willing to do that, then ciao, goodbye, and you can go back home to Central Asia, because originally we Hungarians were coming from Asia, from the Ural Mountains, current territory of West Russia and Kazakhstan. So indeed, we decided to become part of the West, to join the Western civilization, and for that reason we crowned our first Hungarian king on the 1st of January in the year 1000. Do you remember the name of the first Hungarian king maybe? Saint István, Stephen, Stefan, as you wish. So in 1000, the first royal dynasty and the Hungarian kingdom was born. But from that time, we were not that lucky anymore. Simply, we can say that. We can talk about a sequence of occupations in the Hungarian history. So the first enemies of the Hungarians arrived in the 13th century in the Middle Ages. Do you remember who were they? Not yet. Before them? The Mongols, yes. In 1241 and 1242, that's the time when the Mongolian invasion happened, when the Tatars arrived here. And as you can imagine, we mostly lived in wooden houses, wooden villages that time, so it was very easy for them to ruin the country and burn everything into ground. But we had a king that time, his name was Béla. And Béla was so afraid this could happen anytime again, the Tatars to come back and destroy our beautiful country. So he really wanted to build a fortified, strong capital city somewhere in Hungary. He was looking for a suitable place for that, and finally he chose Buda, the place where we are right now. And that was a good strategic decision, by the way, because if you look around, you can see Buda is on top of a hill. Buda is protected by the river. And by the way, that time the enemies were usually coming from the east, from that side. So they had to cross the river. So this is where the history of the castle area starts. 1200s, right after the Mongolian invasion, when most of the buildings here were built in the Gothic style. After that, what happened? Genghis Khan, the leader of the Mongols, died, so they had to go back home to elect their new leader, and that's how we could get rid of the Mongols. But 300 years later, we had our next significant enemies to arrive here, and who were they? The Ottomans, the Ottoman Turks. So they managed to take Buda, this side, which was the capital of Hungary, already in 1541, and that was the beginning of the 150 years that we spent together with the Turks. To be honest with you, it was not really the best time in the country's life, mostly destruction. However, after 150 years of Turkish occupation, finally we got some help from another nation. Do you remember who were the helpers? The Habsburgs from Austria. So in 1686, we were quite happy to say goodbye to the Turks. Bye bye, ciao. But the Austrians, they enjoyed the country as much. They simply forgot to go home after helping us out, and they stayed here for 200 additional years. So 150 with the Turks, 200 years with the Habsburgs. The first part of that was not that beneficial for the Hungarians. We were fighting a lot, fighting for our rights and independence. Residential building here in the Budapest district, which was built in the Gothic style in the Middle Ages. It's original. Second reason, it's a two-floor. Nothing like it. So I want to show you now this